From the top of the world, I've run across the globe, but somebody that everybody know, nigga. From the pen to the studio, I'ma capture your soul or somebody that everybody
So, hey, what's going on, everybody, and welcome to This Life We Chose. I'm here today with a very special guest calling in, reporting live from Atlanta, Georgia. We have hip-hop artist Amiir Hasan in the building with us today, joining us for this interview. So, welcome, Amiir.
Man, thank you so much for having me on. It's been a long time coming.
It's been a long time coming. Yeah, definitely. So for those of you out there checking this out, you know, me and Amiir have known each other for quite a while. We used to work together twice upon a time, if we want to be exact. Twice upon a time, if we want to be exact. But yeah, we've kept in touch over the years. We've been cool over the years. So former co-workers and definitely, you know, friends over the years at this point. So once again, appreciate you for joining us.
Man, thank you for having me, man. It's great to be a part of I know you go by Joe R now. It's great to be a part of one of your productions, man, seeing you doing your thing throughout these years and just you accumulating and just kind of like honing in your skills. I'm just happy to be a part of this now, man. Thank you.
Yeah, for sure. Likewise, you know, you've been growing over these years too that we've known each other. So that's what it's about.
Sure.
You know, just trying to always evolve and always try to reach higher, basically.
Got to, man. Got to.
But yeah, so without further ado, you know, you got back into music recently. So that's what we're here to talk about. We're here to talk about what you got going on right now. So I want to take it from the top with kind of like a question about your origins. So attending a Lil Wayne concert at the age of 12 is what sparked your interest in becoming an artist. Can you tell us about that show and about how the experience inspired you?
Yeah, man. Getting into that is always, it kind of like spirals out. So please stop me when need be. It was a birthday present from my mom. Okay. And it was around the time, 2011, Wayne had just got out of jail like in that year. And this was his first tour since. So like 6 foot, 7 foot type of time.
Okay.
She Will, the Carter 4 era.
Okay.
He was by far like the biggest rapper is one thing, but it felt like the biggest artist in the world, to me at least. He was already my favorite artist, but never been to a concert before. So walking in, not just walking in, but riding up, like the whole experience, man, like seeing people in the street with like the shirts on and you hear the radio playing his music the whole 48 hours before, like it's flooded. Like the whole city came out. And, you know, he's not from anywhere near where I'm from. So to see someone have that impact in a city that they probably only come to once every 2-3 years at most. Mm-hmm. And then to get into that arena, I had never felt the energy before. When you go into an arena and people are anticipating a good show, and when they actually get it, man, it's nothing like it. Because it's one thing when you had that hype before, but the fact that he delivered, like at this time, he was in his prime, man. So the vocals was on point. He didn't have no hype, man. His stage presence was crazy. The set design, it was like, if people want to look it up, it was the I Am Still music tour. It was like 12 huge like LED blocks, and he would have dancers on some of the levels. He would transport to some of the levels. Nice. The stage came like halfway out into the crowd. So it was times where he would walk out there and like, that's how he came up, like through the bottom of the stage into the middle of the crowd. So the whole experience, like production value, performance quality, he was rapping live. He didn't have no backing vocals. He was doing his thing. So in my head, it was like, oh, damn, like that's how they do it. Like, that's how you do whatever this is, whatever we call this thing of ours, if you will, in Godfather terms, you know, that's how you do it. And I was like, if I'm going to strive to be something, I want somebody to feel that way about me one day. And the way that he did the show, man, I'll never forget it.
Okay. Oh yeah. Nah, that was perfect. Absolutely perfect. You know, you painted the picture. That was some of the stuff that I wanted to hear about, like, oh, what era Wayne was it? Mm-hmm. You know, what was the atmosphere like? All that type of stuff for sure. So
prime Wayne.
Yeah. Appreciate you shedding some light on that. Next up, since at least high school, you've developed a DIY approach to progressing in the entertainment industry. like starting Idea Records, going to school for audio engineering, and putting your own events together. What's the motivation behind that independent mindset that you have going on?
Always wanted to have my own. Wanted to, dictate to whatever degree I can my own destiny, right?
Yeah.
Not God, but as far as being able to have my own influence on my own life, that's very important, right? I don't want to feel like life is just happening to me. I want to feel like I'm making choices and decisions, and they lead to other choices and decisions. It's a flow, right? I think entrepreneurial spirit, wanting to have money in your pocket, right? Mm-hmm. So originally just like selling candy, then that turned into selling CDs. And then when I was making my own music, it was like, yo, I'm gonna record in the house, I'm gonna record in the room, and I'm gonna sell my own CDs. Mm-hmm. It was just like this trickle down effect. So for me, it was like, I don't want people controlling my music, what I do, when I do it, but what's the cost and effect to that, right? Like you have to learn the business, right? Because it's the music business. It's not just making the music is one part of it. So you got the entrepreneur spirit and you have the music business. The music business requires you to be a little bit more meticulous, more corporate, if you will. You can't be as much as a freelancer. Like you can't have a freelancer attitude. You have to have a 9-to-5 attitude for consistency.
Sure.
So merging all of those worlds together, like in real time, it wasn't as clear in the beginning as it is now, obviously.
Yeah.
But the mindset was the exact same of like, man, I want to do my own thing, have my own music, have my own money, make my own decisions, but you want to actually reach an audience doing it. So it has to be some type of consistency there. So I looked at the building blocks of all of the actual record labels that existed at a high level, especially at that time. I looked at businesses like outside of music. How did they format their practices and try to come up with some type of a science to create a formula, if you will, to take the music stuff, take the business stuff, kind of form it into one. So I could kind of scratch all those itches at the same time. But ultimately what we find is the music is what's most important at the end of the day, and reaching your audience is most important. Sure. Second, I would say like just second to that, right? So whatever way you got to go about doing that is what you got to do. And so far, that practice has just been my route. To add to that little point, I will say for me, I am now in that phase of delegate, give task away, hire, contract out certain things.
For sure.
Because I do have the vision is altering as far as how I'm going to get there.
Yeah.
But the beginning was very much, I want to learn these practices. I want to go to this trade school, which you ended up being a professor at.
Absolutely.
Which is wild. Not my professor, but, I wish that would have been cool.
For sure.
So I wanted to be very hands-on, but now I'm like, I have these skills, but I have to assess the amount of time that I'm putting into things. So now that I know how to do them, I can ensure that they're done at a high level when I have someone else do them. So now delegate.
Yeah, 1,000%. That's one thing I was going to mention when you started going that route as well, right? Is that
for sure,
you put in that groundwork to learn how everything needs to go, and 1,000% that's going to help you delegate because you know how it's supposed to go. So like nobody can try to like cut corners with you and be like, oh no, this is how it goes for sure.
Can't get me no run around.
Exactly. So that's the benefit of that. Oh yeah, definitely good to hear how that all came together and where it's going as well. So absolutely. Thank you for that. You took a bit of a break from actively releasing music. What did you miss about artist life, and how does it feel to be back?
So yeah, that break was that thing I said about time, focusing and honing in on a specific thing, giving those resources to a specific thing. I wanted to see what I could do as an entrepreneur. Vending machine business, live events business, marketing business, which making people's websites, all kind of stuff. What I missed the most about it was the not just self-reflection, because you can just be driving and have self-reflection, but the expression, if you will. I didn't have an output, and it was always a break, because I always knew that I would come back to it. It was never like I'm done, or some fake weird early 20-year-old retirement or something.
Fake retirement.
I don't know. It was never that. It was always, I didn't know specifically when, but I always knew, I'm gonna go out here, I'm gonna learn some things, I'm gonna fall, I'm gonna win, I'm gonna fail, I'm gonna whatever, and I'm gonna come back, I'm gonna loop, I'm gonna spin the block, right? Man, boy, am I glad I did it the way I did it, because it gave me a chance to actually be entrenched in like real entrepreneurship, like really losing your money, really taking those risks, really seeing things grow from like, a seed and sprouting and becoming a plant, and seeing that same plant not be given enough water and potentially die. It put me in a very real world predicament.
Sure.
So I wanted to come back to the music, because I felt like now, not just like a cliche, like at the end of the movie where the character's like, now I know my purpose, not like that, but now I have a better sense of self, and a better sense of the world around me, like the world that directly impacts me, the world that I have been in. I've been able to see it now from different angles, outside of my own perspective. So I felt like, oh man, these stories, these things that I went through, these could help other people who are going through the same or similar things. And I feel like that could be very impactful to get back to storytelling, because there's different forms of storytelling, but this one for me is just through rhythm and poetry, if you will. So that was kind of that journey of business, music to business, and coming all the way back around.
Okay, absolutely. Yeah, that makes sense. And yeah, it's like they always say, right? Art, well, life kind of like informs the art, you know what I mean? And people definitely say it on a decent basis. Like you have to like live to like have your stories to tell, as an artist, for sure.
Absolutely.
It's reflecting in what we're hearing today, essentially. That's one thing I noticed, back when you gave me a preview of everything that you've been working on. So great to hear about that journey, and it's definitely insightful. You're back to business, with all that said, and you released an EP. So what can listeners expect on Mama Named Me Prince?
Yeah, man. Storytelling. Raw storytelling. No narrative as far as trying to convince anybody of anything, just being what I am. And I feel like at the core, that's a reflection of the world closest to me. I feel like, that's what everybody is. You're a reflection of the world around you. But storytelling, man. I'm talking about my origin on this project, which is why it's called Mama Named Me Prince. It's a very literal term. That's what my name means. And then also, I feel like Prince, the artist himself, that's somebody who was obviously groundbreaking in so many different ways. But when you talk about Idea Records, which means independence defines every artist, Prince, he set the standard for that before I was even born, when he became the symbol.
Yeah.
That's a story for people to Google, Prince becoming the symbol.
For sure, if you don't know that story, absolutely.
You know what I mean? So it's a lot of influence with that. And I think these kind of like double entendres, like they kind of tell a story that matriculates over not just this EP, but the following pieces of music. And the really exciting thing about it is, when I said storytelling, I meant that with the music, but also mean, visually. And when you talk about stage presence, performance, not just stage presence. There's a whole outline of taking the music and then the visuals that are about to come with the music, and then the live performance that I've been rehearsing for the upcoming shows to promote the music. It all, not to like be too methodical, but it all adds to the story. There are certain things that happen in a live show that aren't in the song, because I want you to have it as a live experience. But from the music, man, I would just say, talking about state of affairs for me. So when you talk about broke rap, what is it like to be starving artist, if you want to call it that, with aspirations? But the twist is like, I have the brain power, the means, the will to not be in that situation forever.
Yeah.
So my thing isn't just talking about, oh, I'm a broke rapper. No. I'm a broke rapper today. Tomorrow will not be so.
Gotcha.
And it's going to be the story of that, right?
Yeah.
So just being raw, man. That's the best I got for you right now. Just give it, I give it all I got, and we go from there.
That's what people can expect on it. All right. Oh, yeah.
No doubt.
Good to hear. Good to hear. Absolutely. So speaking of the EP, which song is your current favorite on the EP and why?
Somebody. Now,
Same.
I remember you said that.
Same.
You said that had the best pattern, like flow. I think that was like the thing that you said. Like you was like, yo, that one.
Yeah, I definitely like the way you're playing with the flows on that one. Absolutely.
I really appreciate that, man. That's why I sent the music out, just so I could hear real feedback. Because it's one thing you want to sing your own hit, but you want people to experience it without the context of however I wrote it. You just hear it, and you can give me real feedback. And you did. You gave me paragraphs of feedback, which still has come in handy. But
great.
To answer your question, man, I will say a Denzel movie has my favorite moment with my mom in the beginning. That's my favorite moment. But overall song of Somebody. The movie American Gangster is about Frank Lucas. Another thing it's a big research episode, you know? Go look up who Frank Lucas is, you know?
For sure. Go Google it up.
The movie is obviously an exaggeration of what his actual life probably was. But in the context of the movie, old school gangster who sells a lot of drugs and becomes a kingpin. But his family works for him, and you see his rise from like kind of like a guy who opens the doors for Bumpy Johnson back in the day, a guy who's like holds his umbrella and stuff like that, to him being bigger than Bumpy Johnson. Mm-hmm. Man, it's a terrible thing what Frank Lucas did, but it is something to his scheming, to his thought of, all right, I'm going to go to Vietnam. And it's a terrible thing. Not encouraging anybody to do this. I'm going to go to Vietnam, and I am going to cut a deal with the big time guys over there, and we are going to ship our drugs back to America in the coffins of deceased soldiers. A deplorable thing for sure.
Absolutely.
The thinking, had he been in a different world and made different choices, you know, what could he have done with that kind of thinking? Yeah, absolutely. So that movie played by one of the world's greatest actors, Denzel Washington, which of course. That's a theme throughout the projects, little Denzel movie hints and stuff like that, because he is seems to be just like the stand-up guy. Definitely a point of motivation for at least myself and seemingly other black men for sure. Yeah. Just always presenting himself as just a class act. Yeah, he's a living legend without question. Absolutely. Exactly. So I think with the intro from Denzel, it being from the movie American Gangster, the beat, it's this guy named Kanye Chambers. He made the beat. I just love that song, man. It just gets me, it makes me feel like if I wasn't me and I wanted a song to make me feel like me, this would be that song, if that makes sense. That's hilarious. Like it's songs that I listen to from like these guys in the back where I'm like, man, I feel like, you know, I want to feel like Nas today. You know what I mean? I want to get in that mindset, you know, put on New York State of Mind or something. I feel like that's my version of that. Like that's what this song is for you. And it's so real because are you somebody or you nobody? And I think all the music makes the decision of like, I'm here to be somebody. So fair long enough. Answer, but that's the answer. Nah, it was a good answer, and I love the way you ended it too. You know, I think the way you ended it, you know, truly sums it all up for sure. All right, well, yeah, thank you for sharing about, you know, the EP and your work, and you know, just kind of like where you're at this time. The last question I got for you today is, where can people find you and your work? Yeah, man. Everything from the past, everything for the present, and I intend the future is all on AmirHasan.com. My name.com. I am working on putting everything that's new onto DSPs as well. But right now, the full EP is available for free download as long as you sign up to the email list, AmirHasan.com. And then, keep an eye out. I'll definitely putting songs out on a bi-weekly to monthly basis on the DSPs.
Okay. Hell yeah. Thank you. Thank you for sharing everything.
Yeah,
Thank you for stopping on by. Like you said, it's been a long time coming for us to actually, get together and get an interview together. So definitely
Very
appreciate
grateful.
you stopping on by. But yeah, absolutely, everybody. Please do check Amiir out through the avenue that he just let you guys know about right now. AmirHasan.com is where everything's at. And I do believe that, if they're interested in following you on social and all that type of stuff, all that is there as well, correct?
All of them.
Yeah, everything's linked on the website.
Yes, sir.
That about sums it up, everybody. Definitely want to, again, thank Amiir for stopping by the show. And thank you guys for tuning in as always. And once again, this is This Life We Chose. Amiir Hasan, Joe R. Catch y'all next time.
Feet in the sand, hitting my shoulders above the earth. Credence increase my need, my lust is bloodthirst. Tired and hungry and tired, ignite the